I have watched ABBA and Preach from, I believe, when they were around maybe 300 or 400,000 subs. I remember binge watching a lot of their videos because their content is very, very watchable and it's very entertainable. There are some things that I've had not issue with, but I guess questions about, like anybody else. But at the end of the day, I like the way that they move, and I like the way that they are able to articulate their ideas in a way that's entertaining but still eye-opening. Fresh and Fit, I only recently started watching them, and even then I wasn't an avid watcher. I think that most of the videos that I watched of them, it was either ABBA and Preach that did a video on them, so it was featuring Fresh and Fit, or it was Fresh and Fit's podcast with ABBA, or with ABBA and Preach. The only other one that I watched that wasn't about them, or wasn't related to ABBA and Preach from Fresh and Fit, would probably be one of their talks with like all of those girls. I think there was like 25 girls. There was a lot of girls in that video. That's how I know the two respectively. Now, all of a sudden, as you may or may not know, ABBA and Preach decided, and the thing is, for some context, ABBA and Preach have done reaction videos on Fresh and Fit's content, especially since they've been on it. Like, they've taken clips from ABBA being on it and like discussed it in their own videos. So this is definitely not the first time that they've put Fresh and Fit in a video. So they were reacting to a conversation in one of their podcasts that that ABBA was on, where ABBA was asking, essentially, do all the girls that you have slept with, do they all respect you? And both of them essentially said yes. I say essentially because there was a bunch, they said things, but like I don't really feel like going and reading it verbatim. Both Fresh and Fit, because those are their names, they both said yes. And they said that they're the exception to the rule, or it's implied that they are aware that other men don't have every single woman that they've ever slept with respect them. And they understand that it's like an impossible minority of men that might be included in that definition. But they included themselves in that definition, and they were like, yeah, we know, but this is us. Like, we move with so much game, with so much sauce, that that all of the women that we slept with respect us. So ABBA was calling cap, and it was. It's actually quite a funny video to watch. But then Fresh and Fit watched that video, and they got mad. Now, when I saw their reaction, I watched it in ABBA and Preach's response video. So when they played the clip and Myron, aka Fit, was screaming and yelling, it made me feel this feeling that I completely forgot about, which I've only felt when I watch their videos. And it's a very weird kind of cringe, but at the same time, it's kind of like, oh, you know, like, it's great. They're trying, like, you know, they're doing good things for themselves. They're cashing their checks, like, good for them. Young men should have, you know, should be entrepreneurial and like get their own checks and figure out their own, you know, ways to get money. But the way that they had always come off to me is kind of like those two guys in a group of female friends who are just kind of hovering around. They don't necessarily like anything that the girls are really talking about, but they're there because they're trying to smash one, if not all, of the girls in that friend group. This is the vibe that I get from them. Of course, like, with a little bit more ego, but that's the vibe that I get from them. Very insecure, almost, very young, very almost naive. So when Myron was screaming, it was so cringe. I felt that cringe, that feeling of cringe. It was so bad. And then when he said that Preach is probably married to a beluga whale, I know I said I would not say it verbatim, but that, oh my god. To be honest, it's not even a great insult. So this is what he said. He said, Preach is probably married to a beluga whale somewhere. He made some sort of joke about like a weird ring pop marriage thing, which it flew over my head. I couldn't even grasp what they were talking about, let alone laugh. And like half the girls that were there, if you watch that video where he tells the ring pop joke about Preach, they weren't laughing either, because I don't think they got the joke either. But he said that he insulted Preach's country, he insulted Preach's wife, he insulted Preach, he insulted a lot of things that was probably not a good idea. My whole thing with that is, if you are going to insult somebody, if you're going to get your ass beat for something, at least make your insults memorable and funny. Like, little tip for anybody. If you want to come off more attractive, say what you say with intent and have it follow through the way that you want. For example, when you want to tell a joke, okay, if you're trying to tell a joke, make sure that the way that you deliver the joke, the way that you say it, you know, the way that you bring out the punchline, all of that, make sure that it's in the manner where people are going to perceive it as a joke and that everybody there can at least have a little chuckle. Because if it doesn't play out like that, it just ends up very awkward, just like Myron insulting Preach. It was just kind of very cringe and awkward to watch. At least make sure that your jokes land. Make sure that they're funny and that they land, and that's it. Just that's it, okay? That's all. Especially if you're trying to like talk shit about somebody, like you have to at least talk shit about something that's true. Oh yeah, you said something about Abba's hair, even though low-key he's the one that's kind of losing some hair. And listen, I'm not one to talk. I am losing hair as well, so I actually dyed my hair with henna, with like dark brown henna. Myron, from one person who's losing hair to another, using your insecurity as an insult it's extremely transparent, and it makes you look very, very insecure, and it makes you look very beta. I don't know any men in my life that I consider to be men that lose control of, or not lose control of, but that react in that way to something that they don't like. The men that I know in my life, they react in a very calm, mature way. So another tip, Myron, if you ever watch this, which you probably won't, have some good male role models. And I mean, like, if you see a guy and you're like, oh my god, he's so like down to earth and chill, and he's like, I don't know, like married and like is happy with his wife and has happy children and a happy life, maybe go and try and be friends with him, or, you know, maybe just ask him, hey, can you mentor me, like be my life mentor? Which I know would be really hard for you to do because it looks like you have a really, really large, easily bruised ego, but that would definitely benefit you. It would benefit you a lot, a lot, a lot. After all of this insulting, Preach decided to take up Fresh's offer of a boxing match. Spoiler alert, we still don't know what's happening with that. We don't know when the match is going to be. We don't know anything like that, but we do know that Abba offered $20,000 to Fresh and Fit because Preach said he would fight both of them. He offered them $20,000, win or lose, take the money before the fight, they're good. But they wanted promoters and all of this stuff. ABBA pointed out that this is another reason why they're just kind of out for money and clout and stuff like that. That's something that I kind of disagree with. Not that they're in it for money and clout. Of course, yeah, they are. But I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because at the end of the day, you know, depending on how their contracts are worded and stuff like that, ABBA and Preach and Fresh and Fit stand to win a lot of money, or not even win a lot of money, but bring in a lot of money for both of them if they turn it into a business venture. So I don't see why that would be a bad thing, because it seems like if that boxing fight were to happen, Preach would get to do what he needs to do. Fresh and Fit may or may not get their asses beat. We don't know. And all in all, everybody would get to watch a fight and everybody would make a lot of money. And by everybody, I mean ABBA and Preach and Fresh and Fit. So I don't see why that would be such a bad idea. One more thing that I think is notable is that Fresh decided to go and get firearms, which, okay, fine. Cool, firearms, all right. After Preach decided that he was gonna go and fight them. It just honestly seems like Fresh and Fit are very out of their depth. They seem quite immature, naive, big egos, easily bruised. I feel like there's a lot of growing that they need to do. It sucks that they lost 10,000 subscribers. But at the end of the day, they kind of shot themselves in the foot, because you had ABBA and Preach, who I'm sure they were willing to mentor them. Like, ABBA seems like the type of person who would sit down and help you out with something if you asked. So why you would piss off somebody who can help you and give you really good critiques that would help evolve your content and grow your channel, why you would piss that person off just because they're critiquing something you said, which was frankly very stupid. So obviously stupid too, for you to get upset about that and push this person away, piss them off. It just really doesn't make sense, and it doesn't seem like something that a alpha male would do. It just doesn't. That whole Miami lifestyle that ABBA had mentioned in his videos, it just seems like it's not for Fresh and Fit. It seems like they're too immature to navigate that lifestyle correctly, or at least faking that lifestyle correctly. If you can fake it until you make it, that's great. And these guys definitely could have if they kept their egos in check. Everybody's saying that they were on an upward trend, so this kind of put a kink in that. I don't think that this is going to ruin them at all. I think that they're probably going to learn from this and get better. I'm actually quite interested to see where this whole boxing match thing goes, if you can maybe view it online. Like, I would pay to watch that. Fresh and Fit, I think this would be an amazing opportunity for them to man up and show that they are alphas, as they self-proclaim. Because who knows, you know? Byron said he's been in the gym, maybe he'll win. I think that those are all of my thoughts for today. I like the video if you like it. Comment if you have anything to say about it. If you dislike it, you can dislike it too, that's fine. I hope that you have enjoyed the last video about Gabby Hanna, and I hope that you enjoy this video about Fresh and Fit and ABBA and Preach. And the next video, I'm going to be wearing the same thing. I'm going to look the same because it is going to be a video about Love is Blind, and oh my god, I have a lot of insight in that one.